get the camera set up here. I hope everybody's doing great tonight. It is Sunday night. I got a box of 1990 Upper Deck Baseball here, 36 packs. Been going through a lot of things in the house, deciding what I want to throw away, what I want to keep. And I've been listing a few boxes on eBay, but this one right here, it's pretty low end. There's not a lot of excitement in it. So I kind of looked them up. It looks like they go generally for around about $20, give or take. And then by the time you ship them, you're going to probably end up with like $12 to $15. So I've been deciding for a few days, do I want to open this big bad boy up or do I want to keep it sealed? So, because obviously it's not selling for anything. So I think we're going to open this up into a 3-video thing here. We're going to go about 12 packs of video. As you can see, your odds here, you can get a Ken Griffey, Bo Jackson, Tim Raines, the awesome 1990 Ron Oyster, which I think they won the World Series that year, so that might be worth a nickel. You got Brian Downing here, you got Rick Honeycutt, and then on this side you got Bill Dorn. Wasn't he in Major League? And then you got Don Mattingly, who was a superstar obviously at the time. It says you got a minimum of 1 3D team logo hologram per pack. I mean, those things I think are just really hot on eBay right now. You got a limited edition, high quality cards that, I don't know about limited edition, but definitely high quality cards. 15 cards per pack, counterfeit proof. Yeah, we wouldn't want to be counterfeiting Ron Oyster cards. Random sequencing, which is always nice. If you ever open any of those flare cards up, back in the 80s, they were always in the same order. So you also have tamper-proof packs, so that's always nice. So let's open this up. We're going to do 12 packs in this video, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll do another 12, and then a third video of 12. So I hope everybody's staying safe here, cracking this thing open. Kind of hard to do, but at the same time, it's always kind of fun to open up packs. So as you can see here, got a nice visual. Packs are brand new here. We got some scissors. Looks like we can win a 4 1991 season tickets to a stadium of your choice. Boy, I hope I win that. I can go to any stadium I want to. So maybe we got a chance at that as well. So let's see what we got here. We'll pick out 12 and then we'll get rolling here. So we'll take this whole edge down here. That's 9. We'll pick out another 3 here, and then we'll put this guy on over there, and let's see what we got here. Got my scissors out. I guess that's what you all like to use. Whoop, lost my camera there for a second. And make sure we got these so we don't trim them. Not that it really matters, but we do want to protect our cards with these nickel investment cards here, because I think I just lost money opening up this thing. Okay, so we got the first pack open here. Let's see what we got. Kind of scrubs here. Oh, Tom Bolton. It's a funny story with him. He used to go to a lot of Tiger games in the early 90s, and I'd take the wife with me, and we'd go to the games, and he was with the Tigers. And if he came in the game, we would just leave because it was all over. I mean, this guy got shelled over and over around 93, 94. So, good memories with him. Tom Candiotti. Mike Fitzgerald, Darrell Boston. He's still in the game. I think he's a first base coach or third base coach for somebody. Doc Gooden. There's a good penny card. Brian DuBois. Yes, big time rookie there for the Tigers. Never panned out. Dave Henderson was money. Oh, man, I think he played in the playoffs like 4 years in a row for 4 different teams. Incredible hitter. Great player. Dunston, great shortstop. Oh, here we go. Yes, everybody's been looking for this. Anybody out there like the Cleveland Indians? That's got to be worth at least a penny. Checklist. Oh, that's the best card so far in this pack. Mackey Sasser. He could not throw the ball back to the pitcher. I don't know. He had some brain thing going on there. John Cerruti sadly passed away. Brad Kaminsky, pretty good player. Didn't last long, but he was a pretty good player. Jose Gonzalez, Dave Stieb, and Roy Smith. So, out of those 15 cards, I'd say the value on those is about 15 cents. So, let's try here pack number 2. I think this one's going to get trimmed. I can't get those cards to move very much. Got my scissors here. I think that's how you guys all do it. And slide these on out. Make sure we bend all the corners. Roberto Alomar, there we go. Hall of Famer. That's going to be worth about 3 cents. Oh, another Hall of Famer back to back. Lee Smith. That's going to be worth 3 cents. So we're doing good so far. We got 6 cents back. Randy Johnson, 3 Hall of Famers in a row. How about that? That's got to be worth at least 3 cents. Matt Winters, used to see him a lot around 1996. He was a hitting coach for the Kane County Cougars, the Florida Marlins system. Had him sign a lot of those cards. Could have used that today, or back in 1996. Matt Murillo, I don't know much about him. Chicago Cubs, Andre Dawson, team card there, kind of cool. Sid Fernandez, pretty good pitcher. It was on the 86 Mets team. Another Dave Henderson. Gotta love those. Too bad, sadly, he passed away. Got an awesome Minnesota Twins there. That's got to be worth at least a penny. Oh, here we go. We got a Bo Jackson. How about that? It's going to be worth at least a dime. So we're heading in the right direction here. Tony Phillips went to the Tigers after winning the World Series in '89. So here we go. That's going to be worth at least a penny. Carlos Quintana. He was a good player, and he got hurt, and he disappeared. I always wondered what happened to him. He could hit the ball. Jose Lind, he was a good little second baseman for the Pirates. I always kind of liked him. Joey Cora. Think of him now. You hear the banging of the trash cans. So poor Joey Cora. Dave Schmidt and Mike Dyer. I think he's still alive yet. I don't think he's died yet. So that's pack number 2. Here we go for 3. Everybody excited for this? There's so many great cards to pull out of these packs. Let's see here. Jerome Walton. He was a pretty good little player for the Cubs, but he burned out pretty quick. Jeff Kunkel, his dad was an umpire in the major leagues. Wally Whitehurst, Mets. Chris Carpenter. Oddly, there was a different Chris Carpenter that kicked Detroit's butt in the 2006 World Series, spelled with an H instead of just R-I-S. Vince Coleman, oddly, played for the Tigers too. Good little speed guy. Oh, here we go. Juan Gone. Best thing that ever happened to Detroit. They traded for him after the '99 season, and they offered him a 10-year, $100 million contract, and he turned it down. He was out of baseball like 5 years later, so he would have been still be paid for like 5 more years when he wasn't even playing. Greatest thing that ever happened is he didn't sign with Detroit. Mike Marshall, good Dodgers first baseman. Alex Trevino, look at that one. Look how off-cut that one is. That's going to be worth at least a penny. Cool. Who we got here? Oh, the Boston Red Sox. Yes. We are in the money now, people. It's got to be worth at least a penny. Junior Felix. Oh, this guy, he, the thing I remember about Junior was he had all the skills in the world, but I think he was pretty hard to coach, and I think Toronto finally gave up on him. And I remember he was with Detroit for a little bit, and he was hitting like 450, and he was just stealing bases and stuff. But I don't think he was coachable, and that's just a rumor. I don't know that for sure. Mitch Webster, good old Kansas kid there. Larry Walker in the Hall of Fame now. Good for Larry. Lenny Harris, he was a good pinch hitter. Steve Finley, pretty decent player. Rick Leach, 1976 Wolverine quarterback. Pretty cool card there. And Jim Rice, very underrated. This guy used to kill the Tigers. Great to see him finally get in the Hall of Fame. All right, so now we're on to pack number 4. I would say out of the first 3 packs, what do we have? 45 cards. I'd say we're probably up to about $1 worth. About 2 cents a piece, maybe. Let's see what we got here. We got Greg Walker. Yes, Greg Walker. Junior Ortiz. There's a good one. Ken Howell. He was from Michigan. He passed away recently. Kind of sad. Chuck Carey. He was a Tiger. I think around the 84ish time. Kent Merker. Good little lefty for the Braves. Brian Rose. Or Bobby Rose, I should say. He kind of smells like a rose. Henry Cotto, good little player. Mike Ago, good little infielder for the A's to go with Walt Weiss. Oh, here we got a Yankees one. Oh, well, looks like it's got a little stuff on the top there. That's probably not worth anything now. Too bad. Gerald Perry, he was always interesting. I met him back in the minors when he was coaching. Billy Ripken, Cal's brother. John Costello, Eric Yelding, Chuck Finley got beat up by his wife, I'm sure his ex-wife now. That was funny. Beat him up. Greg Olson, great reliever, great closer. And Mickey Hatcher, I always think of that old Flair card where he's got that big glove. I think it's 86 Flair. Great card there. So we're almost halfway through this break. What do we got? We got 4, 6, 7 more to go. All right, not quite. So this should be number, what are we on? I said 9, 12, 12. I don't know. I can't count anymore. All right, we got that one clipped. Oh, another Alomar. So these will probably be the same ones. Looks like they said no non-sequencing. So here we go. Alomar. Boom. Same one. Lee Smith. Just had that one. Boom. Randy Johnson. Just had that one. Sequencing. Yeah, I believe it. Matt Winters. Just had that one. You guys have this all proof on video. Matt Morello. Just had that one. Boom. Just had that one. All right, so now we get into some different ones. So some of them were the same. Doug DeCenzo. Matt Noakes was hot for a day back in '87. They ended up trading him to the Yankees. Kind of forget what they got. Ooh, the Angels one. That's got to be worth a penny. Another Bo Jackson. All right, that's probably worth a dime maybe. Terry Francona, coaching for the Indians right now. Kurt Ford, not to be confused with Flood. Another Lenny Harris. John Dobson. Oh, yes, checklist. These things are awesome. These things are worth what? Like maybe, I think you have to pay someone to take those. That's how great they are. And Bobby Thigpen. Bobby Thigpen was one of the first autographs I got in person at a Tigers game around 1987. And I got to meet him back in the early 2000s. And I told him this story, and he was impressed. He even told one of the players it was a big White Sox-Cubs reunion game in the middle of somewhere in the suburbs of Chicago. And I told him how I met him. Him and it was Steve Lyons. They both came over and signed literally right before a game, the start of a game in 1987, so I got a chance to tell him. Here's another one, Jerome Walton. We already got that one. Another Jeff Kunkel. So they say no sequencing, and here we go. We're sequencing. Wally Whitehurst, got that one already. Chris Carpenter already got that one. So Vince Coleman, so I wish we could call them liars. Here's another one gone. That's cool, though. I'll mail that one out to him. Andres Thomas, he was a pretty decent player. Nice off-cut one there. Thank goodness none of these are worth anything. Here's another off-cut one. Ozzie Smith, Hall of Famer. Let's go for Mariners this time. And we got Dodgers. That's got to be worth at least a nickel. Junior Felix. Harold Reynolds. I always like this guy. If you ever get a chance to listen to him, he does a lot of stuff for baseball. Gene Larkin for the Twins. Seemed like he had a big hit for them in '91, but I could be wrong. Doug Drabek, he was a good pitcher back in the day. John Orton, Kelly Downs, Jim Traber, the Orioles. So we're moving along here. These things are... Oh, but I think we just trimmed a card. It's all right. Just made it worth more. I think I can say it's game used or trimmed used or something. There we go. I'm sure I just bent half of those, pulling those out. Tony Gwynn. How about that? Great player, great human being. I miss him. Claudel Washington. There's a guy who had a good career, and you'd never hear his name. Good ball player. Gene Harris played for the Tigers for a little bit. That guy had $1 million arm, but he just couldn't control a pitch. Steve Rosenberg. Ron Karkovice. A couple back-to-back White Sox. Dennis Cook. I always wondered if he could cook. Greg Maddux, great Cubs card. It wasn't too long after this, he went to the Braves. David Cone, another great pitcher, back-to-back, really good pitchers. All right, what do we got? We got one stuck back here. And we got another Dodgers. Yes. That's worth nothing. Mike Harkey, he's a pitching coach somewhere in the majors right now. I think maybe Yankees. Mike Felder. Lenny Dykstra, man, that guy, a lot of talent, but his life is crazy. Lloyd Mosby, met him a few years ago in a Whitecaps game. He was there to sign. And the thing I remember about him that night, he was talking about the Tigers, and he battled them all those years, and then he's like, yeah, if you can't beat them, you got to go join them. So he ended up playing, I think he finished his career in Detroit, if I remember right. Eric Hetzel, don't remember much about him. Jeff Montgomery, great relief pitcher. Ozzie Guillen, this guy yelled at me one time. They did a picnic in the park, Frank Thomas Charities, way back in like 97, 98. I think it was 1997. I was on the field after a game, and then all the players would go out there and you mingle with them, and he yelled at me. It was great. All right, so we are down to, we're going to do 5 more here, and then we're going to take a little bit of a break. So let's move that down. Get my tools here, cut this thing open. Hope everybody's staying safe. I hope we can get back to working here pretty soon, getting our jobs back. We got an Ellis Burke, that one's up high. John Tudor, pretty good pitcher. Norm Charlton, part of those nasty boys, great reliever. Jim Corsi, Kevin Moss. Remember that guy was hot. This is probably, back in the day, this is probably like a quarter card. Now I got to pay someone to take it. Got Lance Dog Johnson. I think that was his nickname, was Dog. I think he wrote that on some of the cards he signed for me. Mike Schooler. Oh, here we go. Vince Coleman. Yeah, that guy. He could fly. Vince. Who do we got? We got Pirates. Feels like there is 2 here. Hey, we did good, people. We got 2. So we got White Sox and Pirates. How about that? 2. Those are both worth nothing. Fred McGriff, underrated player. Man, he came so close to hitting 500 home runs. He's got to be considered him from the Hall of Fame if you look up his records. Tim Raines, it took him too long to get to the Hall of Fame. Good ball player, but drugs might have done him in. I'm not sure. Barry Lyons. Juan Berenguer, he was a Tiger. He also won a World Series with the Twins. Good reliever. Lance Parrish, here's another guy that you could consider for the Hall of Fame. He'll never get there, but if you look at numbers for catchers, he's right there. Jose De Leon, and then you got your Cal Ripken. So that Ripken's going to be worth what? Anybody give me a dime for that? All right, so 4 more in this, and we'll be a third of the way through. Oh, yes. 1990 Upper Deck Baseball. Jack Clark. Terry Kennedy. Back-to-back Giants. Robin Yount, Hall of Famer. Charlie Hudson. Rob Nelson. Jim Gott. Lonnie Smith. Keith Hernandez, good player. Who do we get this time? Oh, yes, Blue Jays. Ooh, it's worth nothing. Rick Sutcliffe, big pickup for the Cubs back in '84. Rob Deere, that guy could hit bombs, but most of the time he just struck out. Terry Mulholland, Dickie Thon, back-to-back Phillies there. Ramon Martinez, I think his brother did all right. Pedro, Rick Russo, and Kevin McReynolds. All right, 3 more. That was 9 packs. Let's see here. Steve Wilson. Lloyd McClendon. I got a chance to talk to him a couple months ago. Asked him about the Little League World Series because he hit a whole bunch of home runs. I don't know the numbers, but I'm going to throw something out. He was like 5 for 5 with 5 home runs, and then they walked him like the rest of the time, so he really didn't even get much at bats. But his team won the Little League World Series. Joe Oliver, another former Tiger catcher. Randy Kramer. Chris Hammond, rookie. Astros. I'm surprised they don't have a little trash can down here that they're banging on. Is that too soon, by the way? Jose Rijo. Jim DeShays. Oh, the Tigers one. Yes. Nobody wants that. Pete O'Brien. Brian Holman. Chip Hale. Shane Raleigh. Mark Kubica. Floyd Bannister, he's still really good in the mail, and the Kurt Gibson. What a big addition he was for those Dodgers. If you never heard this story, there's a spring training story with, I think it's Jesse Orasco, and he puts eye block in his hat, and then Gibson puts it on in spring training, and he's got eye block going all the way all over his head, and Gibson gets pissed, and he calls out the whole team, calls them in, and asks, who did it? but he set the tone. From that moment on, the Dodgers knew they were going to win the World Series that year. Ted Power, another Tiger, former Tiger. Craig Lefferts. Mark Parent. I wonder if he has a parent. Willie Hernandez, spelled his name wrong there. I wonder if that's an error card. Joe Carter hit the big home run in, what was that? Jeez, that's so long ago. 1992, I think. Oh my goodness, that's a long time ago. Or is it 93? I think it was 93. Kevin Tapani, he was from Central Michigan. How about that? Greg Gagne, great signer. That'll probably go in the mail. Rick Mailer, met him a few times before he passed away. He was a coach in the Midwest League. What do we got here? Phillies. Yes, that's worth nothing. Kelly Gruber. He's a cool guy if you ever get a chance to meet him. Mitch Williams. Just saw him a couple months ago in South Bend, Indiana. He not very nice, but he had to sign, so he was there to do that. Jesse Barfield. Good player. Charlie Hayes. I think he won the World Series with the Yankees. Greg Litton. Mike Rockford. I don't remember much about him. And Howard Johnson. Horrible trade for the Tigers, but it is what it is. Sparky didn't like those young guys, so he went and got himself a Walt Terrell for Howard Johnson. Worked out good for the Mets. All right, last pack here. Pack number 12. Andy Hawkins. Love these cards right here. Yeah, these are worth, what, a nickel? Nah, probably not even that. John Farrell, he's still in the game as a coach. Jay Bell, great signer in the mail. That's obviously a spring training photo like those. The great Ben McDonald. This would have fetched a couple dollars back in the day. I can't give that thing away now. Neil Heaton. I wonder if he ever was heating up. Jim Gantner, another spring training. Love these spring training photos. Alan Anderson, a good little lefty. Pirates again here. I think that's the second time we got that one. Dewey Evans. He was a good player. He should make the Hall of Fame someday, I think. Mark Williamson. Dan Plesac. He's on, what's he on? Is it MLB? Mike Guthrie. Greg Matthews. Ooh, Wally Joyner. That was a big player there for a few years back in like 87, 88. And finally, Mike Marshall. All right, so that's the first of 3 videos. I hope you enjoyed the box break. If you did, I'll be opening up 2 more segments of that. Wash your hands. Stay safe. Bye.